Subscribe today over at patreon.com/thecinemasnob, where yes, 1963 in film is going on, where you can see weekly installments of that and regular Snob episodes too, all up for early viewing now at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. Hope to see you there.
Oh, that's a good start. Sorry for the late start, you guys. But to pick up from where we left off last week, let's talk a little bit about the after effects of doing the little Nitro world's hottest gummy bear at 9 million Scovilles. That's why I'm late. I'm running 15 minutes. If you're watching this live, I'm running 15 minutes behind on this stream. Is it because I got a new phone and had to get the wires right, re-download some apps, put them in the right jacks, because some it was working better than in others? Yes, but for comedy's sake, let's just say it took a full week for that bear to pass through. We're going to get to the bomb in a second. I noticed that people in the chat already very, very, very concerned. Some of them saying that they almost called 911, had to go to the hospital, or almost had to go to the hospital. Some did say, they were, that it felt like crapping acid, but still told me to enjoy it. Now, the bottle's sitting right here. And I don't feel, here it is, I don't feel like I have radiation poisoning yet. It's, I didn't get it during 1983 in film with the day after poster sitting behind me, so I feel alright with this little bottle sitting there. It's in a little bottle, it'll be fine. So okay. Now, the after effects, we're going to talk a little bit first while people are showing up. We're going to talk a little bit first about the after effects of doing the gummy bear. Now, when I did the video, it was hot. It was very hot. I got a big enough reaction out of it. It was actually kind of hard to talk for like 15 minutes. I say kind of hard to talk, but really, I couldn't talk at all for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, crap, I'm on a live stream. My mouth's on fire. I can't freaking say anything. This is like dead air, so I've really got to act with my eyes the most I ever had in my life. And I usually act with my eyes a lot. So I was okay during, once like that 15 minutes of pain on the live stream, once that was over and we were in the Q&A session and everything, I was okay. Like, I did see a lot of posts about, people instantly having severe stomach pain and cramping, and I knew about that going in, so I did kind of pre-game beforehand where I had a little bit of Pepto, took a bite of ice cream, drank some milk beforehand. So at least I had a lemon loaf too. So I at least had, oh crap. Yeah, okay. I actually, sorry, this is gonna have to be something that, you'll have to deal with in the stream, is the backwards shirt. I actually fixed it right beforehand. Now I'm going to be looking at that the whole time. I actually fixed it right beforehand, but then had to re-download the app and didn't fix it again. So, you know what? Hang on. Maybe we'll help you out a little bit. Do one of these. I can't do anything about the posters in the background. A nice poster in the background that says, "It's a damn, 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 damn world." What a weird effect. It only made those words backwards. Okay, there. That's kind of less. Yeah, all right, sure, why not? So anyway, I was okay for the rest of the stream. And then when Laura and I were watching TV afterwards, I was all right during that too. I was a little like, I didn't feel great. I had like a mild stomach ache when we were watching TV afterwards, but I was still, it wasn't like severe cap cramps or anything, or I'm hunched over and like grabbing my abdomen and shit and being like, oh man, just let that fire come through. Let me run to the bathroom. It wasn't quite there yet. And then 3 a.m. hit. And as I was saying last week, it was my turn to take care of Jack that night. It was my shift to feed Jack in the middle of the night. Sometimes he sleeps through the night. Sometimes he wakes up maybe once or twice. So he did wake up around 3, and I was already awake. I was starting to feel it. I was like, I could feel the sweats a little bit. I'm like, ooh, I think it's coming. And so then I feed Jack, and I'm sitting there like, oh, drink faster, my boy. Laura's like, don't forget to change his diaper too. I go, yeah, I know. I'm gonna need mine changed as well. So Jack, he's on the 4 size nipples right now, so he got through his food pretty quick. Still kind of felt like a long time, but he got through it really quick than when he was a newborn. So then I raced to the bathroom, and I was wondering how I handled the little Nitro Bear compared to the One Chip Challenge when I did that a long time ago. But some people over on Twitter and some people over on Facebook mentioned that it seemed like I handled the bear better than the chip. I do recall drinking way more milk when I had the One Chip Challenge versus the bear. I will say this, though. The aftermath, because I remember more so the aftermath of the One Chip Challenge. The aftermath of the bear, worse. And the aftermath of the One Chip Challenge was bad. Don't get me wrong. It was really, really bad. But I was kind of like in the bathroom, I was there for like 20 minutes of pain, and then I was out. And that was some frickin' pain. Now with the bear, I was in the bathroom, I was in there for a while, and I'm like, it's just one little bear. Like, yeah, it was dense as hell. Like, it's just one little bear. How did it turn into a whole barrel full of acid that's leaking out of me? And it wasn't just once either. I would think that it was all out of me, and then I would go lay back down, and then get up 30 minutes later, and there's suddenly more bear. Suddenly, my ass is feeling like how my shirt looks. It's the the hot river of slime pouring out of me. This went on for a few hours. I would think it was gone, and then an hour would go by, and they're like, oh no, there's a little piece of the bear's foot left that's in there. It's okay. It's just turned into a gallon of acid that's coming out of you. So after a few hours, 4, I don't know, it was gone, but I was still like laying there attacked by this bear and wanting revenge on Tom Hardy. Like, I'm still sitting there not in the best of shape. I was wiped out for the rest of the day. I really was. It was kind of a light work day. I only had to edit the second half of the Pumpkinhead 4 episode. So if you watch the Pumpkinhead 4 episode, which you should, I really like doing that episode. Editing it was kind of uncomfortable, but like if you watch it, when it gets to the second half of that episode, just know that while I was editing it, not while I was shooting it, but while I was editing it, I'm just sitting there uncomfortable from crapping out lava rocks all night. But I really like how that episode turned out. Pumpkinhead 4, it's probably my least favorite of the 4. It was the most fun I had doing an episode, because I went in, I'm like, I didn't expect it to be the story of the Hatfields and McCoys with a little bit of Romeo and Juliet, and then Pumpkinhead shows up. So anyway, that's my story of the after effects of the bear. And then next time we do this, sorry about the backwards posters behind me. I hope that one guy is just simply noticing that. Like, wait a minute. That old Sesame Street house, the colors are wrong. Hooper's place goes on the other side. So, Chad's right. Unbearable was the word. I fully know what Tamara was talking about now. When she warned me about the bear a couple years ago, and was just F that bear. And yeah, F that bear. So now let's do Da Bomb. Now with Da Bomb, this is one of those things where sometimes the Scoville units will trick you. because this is just, I mean, not saying that that's mild, but it's 130 some Scoville units, but it's an extract, so it's gonna have the feeling of a lava bear inside of me again, and I'm being very careful with eyes and everything. So to put you guys' mind at ease, I have actually had Da Bomb before. So I know, granted, I've never had it on a piece of my son's little dinosaur potatoes, but I relatively know what I'm getting into here. I know that it is something that, despite saying 100 some Scoville units, it's going to feel like that damn bear again. So, you see, here we go in the chat there. De shits, de gross. And if I survive this, don't forget to get your super chat questions in, because we'll shoot the shit afterwards. Go easy on the shooting the shit, because I'm going to be shooting bullets out of it later on. Alright, so for all of the good Samaritans in the comments who write down, he tries to bomb at this point in the video. There you go. It's just instant. Oh my god. And there's the hiccups. Oh. I think I got through the bear with... This show is... Looks like I'm going through a body horror thing. Ugh. Forget everything I've done on the Cinema Snob. This looks like a transformation scene right now. Yeah, it's a transformation scene. I should have kept the shirt around. The power is the words just simply go back from being the mirror image. Jesus. Oh my god damn. And it doesn't even... It just tastes like heat. Like, I don't want to go so far as to say that it's just a dare. It's not as bad as the bear, because I can talk during it, but I'm crying more, man. Ice cream. It looks like I'm going through a breakup or something. I'm on a live stream just crying like... I don't even care anymore. I just want my ice cream. I didn't even put my shirt on right. Oh. The cats left me. They're not getting the posters. Man, that's the thing about Da Bomb. Like, there's really not much you can do. Like, there's like temporary relief. Ah, Jesus Christ. Oh, what are you still doing there? Taunting me. The ghost of you stupid bear is gonna be in my shit later. That's my transformation. The bear shows back up inside me. When you have Da Bomb, and it sucks, and it will suck, and you drink something, it more so than when you just have regular hot sauce and water and it just spreads it around. That is multiplied way more with Da Bomb, and it doesn't matter what you put in your mouth, whether it's milk or ice cream. It just spreads it. It's like, I know that drinking this, you cats aren't getting my cup either. I know that drinking this, it's going to make it worse. It's going to spread it around. But there's like a second of relief. It's like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's like, ripping a Band-Aid off the wound, only if the Band-Aid just pulled the bottom part of your leg off. It's still my same milk from last week. Next week I'll drink from the same thing, but there'll still be a little bit of Da Bomb left on it. There we go. Da Poison. I'm looking at the chat. Da Poison. Da Acid Reflux. And that's, yeah, it absorbs the oils and everything. Justin says, eat bread. I did beforehand. Like, that's why I was talking about this earlier and last week too with the bear. Having a good base on the stomach and everything, so I can still do the Q&A portion of it and not really be sitting in any pain. I'll let you guys know next time what the aftermath is. I think I'm all right. The pain was... let's compare this to the bear, to the little nitro bear. Heat, I mean, it kind of is close, to be perfectly honest. This one, the hiccups were worse. This one brought out the hiccups more. This one brought out the tears more. Laura has had Da Bomb, and when she tried it, when we got the bottle, and she had tried it, she had the same reaction as me, just tears and everything. And Laura, she's great with spice. She's on we did a one chip challenge video with her too. So, Jesus, it still hurts. Like, at least, okay, when I did the bear, and it was at this stage where I can, like, talk, but it still hurts. When I did the bear, the heat was, like, it moved to my teeth. This son of a bitch, this giant bomb that, like, Slim Pickens would have dived off way before hitting the ground. It still, like, hurts on my tongue. Like, a little bit of my teeth. It still hurts everywhere in there, but I can still talk. So the kind of lingering is a little worse. The bear was denser. Just chewing that. Like, that, at first, that was the hardest part, just chewing it, getting it down. Then that heat lasted for about 15 minutes. Later, way longer, but when I had it, about 15 minutes. This one's a little bit shorter. So I think I handled this one. A little bit better. Okay. Sorry. Kind of nudged the microphone cord a little bit. Just want to make sure that still worked. Maybe a second. I see there's a commercial break playing. I can drink some more of this. I'm curious, like, given what this is, like, it's not, it's not the kind of thing that, yeah, it's something, it's funny, you put it on some stuff, like I just did with a little piece of dinosaur potato, and then you eat it and you get a funny reaction to it. I mean, believe me, I watch Hot Ones. I look forward to, sometimes when I pick an episode of Hot Ones to watch, it is entirely based on how much I want to see them do Da Bomb. Like, Da Bomb, it's what I look forward to the most. I think that's what a lot of people look forward to, but yeah, it's what I look forward to the most on there is, like, when they get to Da Bomb. Sometimes, like, I'll specifically choose one and be like, I want to see what happens when Gwyneth Paltrow has Da Bomb. So, if anyone has, like, had this and used it for the purpose that I imagine that it's for, God, that still hurts. Which, because there's no flavor to this. It tastes like heat and, acid, really. Like, it's just kind of metally hot heat. Not really much kind of flavor or anything like that. But if you made like a big pot of chili, of course, that's like a go-to. Like chili, or even if you made like a hot dip or something like that. Something that's like already flavorful. And then you just add like a little dab of this, maybe to a pot of chili or big thing of dip, mix it around in there. Give it a little bit of heat. I wonder if it works. Like, it's an extract, man. Like, I imagine that's like kind of mainly the intent of it. But yeah, I'd like to know from anyone who's like really kind of used it for that purpose. Because I'd try to do that. Just like, if I'm, experimenting in there, cooking something, add a little bit of a dab of that to see what it's like. Other than like just spreading it on something and eating it. Jesus God. I know it's going to be painful later. It's going to be more painful later. I shouldn't really complain right now. All right. Well, next week we'll talk about the aftermath more next time. So, all right. Let's go ahead and dive into the super chat questions right now. I see someone saying, need an episode called Brad Cooks Chili. Join in, guys. I'm out of Pumpkinhead movies. I don't know what else to watch right now. We're just going to make some chili. Okay. Scroll up here. Okay. Go into the super chats right now. All right. Oh, we've got a handful in here. Cool. All right. So, hang on. Let's pretend like this has just been a very dignified chat the whole time. I'm not crying anymore. I'm like, I've gotten over it. I'm fine. Let's talk about some questions. Anna Lissoff. It's a cool name. I just don't know. I'm sorry. I'm butchering this, man. And it's your first super chat question too. It's got the big like dancing number 1 next to it. Anna Lisofikova. Cool name. I'm sure I butchered that, but cool name. It's even harder to say if you've had to bomb. My tongue's already not working. What's your name? It's Dave. Oh, sorry. Okay. Hey, Brad, have you ever done a snob video where there was enough material for different episodes? By the way, are you planning to review Winter's Tale? Love your work. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next question. Just kidding. So do you mean like enough material for 2 episodes in which it would be a long episode and I'd have to cut the episode in half? Or something that has enough material that I could review it twice? Because I can answer both of those things. One of which... we used to, kind of in the Blip TV days, it was more popular to have episodes that were multi-part. Like, I remember when I did the Heaven's Gate episode, and I split it into 3 parts, because I did the extended one, the Cimino version, and that was like a 3.5, 4-hour movie, something like that. So I split that into 3 parts, because it was convenient to do it like that. Nowadays, that's not how I would do that. I think when I've done a few more like that. I remember when I did an episode on the Cinema Snob movie, I split that in half. Heaven's Gate. I Spit on Your Grave, I did. Caligula, I did. A lot of the anniversary episodes, I would do that. Nowadays, I wouldn't do that. I would still probably take as many days to make it, but I wouldn't upload them separately. People really like long videos nowadays, so they play them through the night and everything while they're working. So if I were to do a Heaven's Gate today, my filming schedule for it would be about the same as it was then, but I would edit them all into one video and post it like that. In terms of something that had enough material that I could do the episode more than once, yeah, that's happened. I've redone episodes. If If it was an older episode, and back when YouTube had a time limit, they had like a 10-minute time limit when we started. So if it was something I wanted to spotlight more of the movie, I would do that. I did that with, what did I do? Oh, Friday the 13th Part 5. I did that with Friday the 13th Part 5. Bat Pussy was an interesting one, because Bat Pussy... when I sat down to do the episode, I didn't realize just how much of the movie was like 90% nudity. When I did the original episode of that, there wasn't much of the movie I could show, which is unfortunate, because if you ask me what is the worst movie I've sat through, not the movie that made me the most mad or anything like that, what is, I think, the worst? Yeah, it's that. There's so much of the movie that needs to be talked about that you can't do when you have to edit, when you have to censor a lot of footage. Between the fact that the guy in the movie can't get it up, or how the characters in the movie look, or the language that they use in it, the flubs that happen during the sex scenes. So I did that episode again, and I had it uncensored. I did a whole new episode on it where I could show everything, and I put it on one of the DVDs. It was like the main reason I did that DVD. Because of that, it's my favorite of the uncut DVDs. I did redo Super Hornio Brothers so that I could put an uncut version of it over on the uncut channel. So yeah, that's it's happened where I could get new material out of something that I've already done. And you're right about Winter's Tale. That's one that there's so many lists, so many movies that have been on my list for God knows how many years. Is that movie about 10 years old now? It's been on the list since then. If I have time to, I'll try to this December, because you're right. That I keep forgetting about that one, and I do got to do it. Yeah, this Christmas season. Hopefully some other Good Samaritans will remind me that, yeah, there's a lot to work with Winter's Tale. It's one of my favorite midnight screenings too. L. Neiman says, "Are you ever gonna put out the missing in the missing in action Cinema Snob episode?" Sorry. Just turning the super chat back on. Yeah. Am I ever going to release the Cinema Snob Missing in Action trilogy? Oh, yeah, for sure. The only reason why I haven't yet is just copyright. That's it. It's just going through copyright appeal, and it clears tomorrow. So it'll be Monday's episode. It would have been last Monday's episode, but it didn't clear, so I put Pumpkinhead 4 up instead. I've been like putting the finishing touches on my next book. Speaking of Bat Pussy, I'm putting the finishing touches on my next book. So I had a couple episodes there in the can, and just so whichever one cleared first, that's the one that went up. And Pumpkinhead 4 didn't get hit for copyright at all, but Missing in Action did, and it was in copyright for a few weeks, and then after a few, I was like, are they gonna make it time out after the whole month? And then a few weeks went by, and they rejected it. Then you just do the second appeal, and that takes at most like 7 days. So it's going to clear tomorrow. Missing in Action episode. You're getting a long episode with that one. That episode is an hour and 12 minutes long, and it is on Patreon. They're split up on Patreon, but all three of the episodes are over on Patreon right now. Patreon.com/thecinemasnob. Eclectic Ennui. Are these recent Q&As part of Brad Tries Podcasting, or are they separate from that? It replaced it. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, my favorite part of doing that, of the live streaming, was the Q&A. I felt a lot more relaxed doing the Q&A. There was also like so many issues with we had a lot of connection issues and stuff like that would come up, that it started growing a little disheartening that I would have stuff planned out, but then the connection would be bad, and then a lot of that would be ruined. So eventually I was like, yeah, if something that I would have talked about in the podcast comes up naturally in one of these, then cool, it comes up naturally. But I just want to have just a chill Q&A chat and have some hot sauce, because I love talking about hot sauces. So yeah, and I had a really good time. Doing it last week. The bomb was fun too, for now. But I would like to call this something. I mean, I guess I could still keep calling it Brad Q&A, blah blah, whatever the freaking hot sauce is called. But maybe something like, I don't know, a little bit better than that. I guess Brad Q&A, it's kind of a temporary name. Or maybe not. Brad Tries was a temporary name that I just stuck with. James Moyner. I'm glad to see you for another live stream. What will your theme for Musical March in September this year be? I don't know if I'm going to do Musical March in September this year, just because there's just kind of a lot of other things that I really have to spotlight that YouTube would push better than Musical March in September, to be honest. We'll see. I'm going to play it by ear. Maybe I could find something that would fit Musical March in September that YouTube would push. So and not have it be made up on the back end in the archive a year later. I'm fine. Now I'm just thirsty. I'm going to end up doing one of these where this thing is done spoiled. You're like, oh, but it's really hot. Well, my stomach already hates me anyway. Ooh, when it's curdled, that works better. If I can find something that's popular enough, I don't know if I'd do a whole month, but we'll see. I'll play it by ear. I could change my mind. Who knows? I might look at a list and be like, oh yeah, there's plenty of stuff in here I haven't spotlighted yet. But no, I don't have a particular theme or anything like that planned. John Bondi, if Bert and Pearl ran for president of the United States, who would win? Well, Pearl is braver, so maybe Pearl. Bert, Bert's a bit skittish. Gets paranoid by all kinds of noises and everything, and he really is afraid of everything. He goes around with his big old eyes and giant frown, and no matter what he hears, it instantly puts him on edge. Whereas Pearl, well, she's like an escape artist. Pearl will go. She's very brave, very daring, certainly a daredevil. She likes going out and exploring the hallways and everything, the hallways in our building. So yeah, maybe Pearl. Or I don't know. You never know with these things. Pearl one could get more votes, but the other wins the Cat Electoral College. You never know. But if I was a betting person, I'd say Pearl. Sully Woodley. Hey Brad, recently rewatched the Sharknado crossover episode with Doug. So much fun. If you did the sequels, would you do it solo or with Doug? We did, speaking of re-reviews, I guess, we did do a riff that I don't know where it aired. It aired on something Comcast was trying out. An app, maybe? Or some kind of streaming channel? I'm not 100% sure, but there was some kind of Comcast app thing that also had Asylum stuff on it. And they kind of wanted their own Mystery Science Theater. So Doug and I did this pilot together that was directed by Anthony Ferrante, who directed all the Sharknado movies, he directed this thing that Doug and I did, in which there was, kind of like this sketch thing at the beginning, and then we were sitting there and watched the movie, just provided commentary over it. Like, it was just kind of like a casual watching the movie type thing, like half riff, half just kind of audio commentary. And we did an interview with the director on set and everything, and there was a set like built for it. And we did that for like one episode, and it was hard to find where it was. I was in it, and I had trouble finding where this thing was, but I guess you can find it. Like, if you Google it, maybe you could find it. I don't know. But that would maybe be an interesting watch. I was going through long COVID hardcore when we shot that. I didn't have COVID when we shot it, but I was going through the aftermath, the long COVID shit, doing that. All this brain fog and fatigue and everything, and then doing this live unscripted commentary thing. Christ, give me the bomb in it. That would have woken my ass up. So anyway, I don't know if I would do the sequels. Yeah, I don't know. Are there many Sharknado videos and stuff now? I don't mean the movies, but like people doing videos on them. Maybe if I did, the only way I would do them all is I'd probably want to get some involvement with people who made it, because I'm friends with people who made it. I would do it. I wouldn't do them individually and release them individually. I'd do them all kind of like with the missing in action video I got coming up. I would do them all just as one video. But I doubt there's a lot of other things I would want to get to before that. Sully Woodley again, carrying on from the gag about movie titles in the Sharknado episode. Have you considered other bad sci-fi movies, like the Mega Shark versus Blank series? Yeah, maybe not some of the older ones, but newer ones that pop up, I would, because I actually do like doing episodes on the VOD movies. And those it used to be on the show that if I needed like kind of a break or something easy, I'd pick like a porn parody to do, because the porn parody episodes you could watch, shoot, write. So wait, let me get that in the right order. Watch, write, shoot, edit, and post like in a day. Now those kinds of episodes are a little harder to do with what you can show and what you can't. But the VOD type stuff, like when I did the Mockbuster Freddy's Fridays, or when I did Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, and what else? That Black Santa thing that I did, they are so easy to do, because one, they're not long. At most they're always like 80 minutes, and 10 minutes of that is usually credits, and there's so much padding in them that they're not fun to sit through really, but they're easy to do episodes on. I haven't seen this movie yet, but probably the next episode that I write, and I'm working on some stuff with the book right now, but the next episode that I write will probably be that Mousetrap movie that's on VOD, the one that, since Steamboat Willie went into public domain, this is the first of like the upcoming horror films that have Mickey Mouse mask as the killer. I'm guessing it will also probably have a lot of padding. The thing has got like a 2.5 on IMDb or something. I might be in for a treat with that one. Again, much easier than doing the bomb. Okay. Jacob Matthew Crawford. Oh, Brad, you shouldn't be doing this. Now you tell me. You taste all the sauces publicly on your own. Sean Evans isn't going to think you're worth interviewing. He ain't going to have me on there. two bald guys sitting there, facial hair, having spicy things. It'd be very confusing to watch. I liked it where I got the bomb. Sorry. That was just really tempting. I'm sorry. The ice cream is right there. It's just looking right at me. I'm like, all right. Live streaming, everyone. Where I got the bomb. It's the hot sauce store that's over at our mall. And it has its own, like, hot as seen on Hot Ones section. So, of course, the bomb was there. They didn't have the, like, in-house sauces that they do on the show. But they had, what else did they have? The Hellfire one. Crystal's easy to find. They had a couple different kinds of da bomb. They had, I forget what the other one was called. I don't know, da bomb Hurricane Edition, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm curious how that one is. I might grab it next time I'm there, just to see what other types of da bomb taste like. If anyone's had that, let me know. But yeah, I'll be, I got a couple of other sauces in there that I don't think they're like extreme heat, but they have funny names. So I might do that next week. Give my stomach a little bit of a break. Or maybe, I haven't had them yet. One of them's got a name like, holy shit, this is hot. Like, well, the bottle itself is cursing like it's doing a video of itself. It has to be hot. Mike Steele. Doug signed my copy of Short Circuit. I need you to sign my copy of Caligula. Practically the same movie. Both have characters in it watching the female character bathe. Are you coming to Vegas anytime soon? Well, if I'm getting blackout drunk in the future, then yes. No plans to... I see your... don't worry, I see the question right above you. I'm going to get to that in a second. I accidentally skipped one, but I'll get to that in a second. If I get invited to Vegas, absolutely. The next one we've got is Cleveland. Cleveland Gaming Convention. In the community section and on Facebook, we got a post about it. Follow me on there too, by the way. Facebook.com/TheRealCinemaSnob. That's the end of, not the very end of September, but like the bottom half of September. Me, Doug, and Malcolm are going to be at that one. And we're doing Days of the Dead, Chicago, and the Midwest Gaming Classic. We've got a few coming up, and certainly when the second book comes out, I'll be signing up for a lot more. Delos 1138. Hey Brad, been reading Less Than Zero. Good stuff. I told you. It's just an odyssey through the drug crazed world of wealthy cokehead youth back in the day. It's God, that man. I feel high having to bomb. Like, I can't talk about Less Than Zero right now. I kind of feel like Julian a little bit. Ugh. Remember in Less Than Zero when he was hooked on the sauce? No, I mean literally hot sauce, man. Why did he have to sell himself for that? Just go to the store, dude. If the movie had been a direct adaptation of the book, he says if the movie had been a direct adaptation of the book, he'd want Alan Ruck as Clay. Yeah, I could see that. He says, how about you? He says Robert Downey should still be Julian. Yeah, I agree with that, because I do. The movie's nothing like the book, but I do like the movie. I like it as its own, because it is still a snapshot of a certain kind of youth culture in the day that wasn't getting spotlighted a lot, really, in movies. Like that level of straight up addiction. And it's especially like in this very kind of MTV looking youth scene. So I think the movie still works. Different than the book does, but I think that they both still have value. And Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic in that film, and I like Andrew McCarthy in it too. He's definitely not Clay from the book, but if they made Clay like the book, yeah, I could see Alan Ruck. Shit. Well, maybe Billy Zabka, honestly. I would say like he could also be Spader, but Spader was already really good in the movie version. Yeah, I'd have to think about that, but Alan Ruck's a good choice. Jacob Matthew Crawford, damn those hiccups. Oh, those are long gone by now. I'm just drinking milk for the fun of it. Because I'm thirsty and the ice cream is all melted right there. But that's okay, because when I get that ice cream tomorrow, when I need a snack, it's kind of cool when all the fun stuff is at the very, very, very bottom. It's like this prize when you get down there. Yeah, it's becoming my favorite part of doing these. What type of bad movie is worse in your opinion? A movie so bad it makes you mad, or a movie so boring that you can't stay invested? So it might also come down to the length. Because if something is just boring but really, really, really long, holy crap, you are stuck there. If it's something that makes you mad, you're still stuck there for a long-ass time. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they're the same length. Let's say these two movies are just a couple hours long. Sitting through it, like, there's movies that I've seen that are so bad that they annoyed the shit out of me and were kind of hard to sit through, but they are fun to talk about later. Like, well, I could say the same thing about a boring movie too. I'll tell you what's worse. I don't know the last time that I've really gotten mad at something. Annoyed, yes. I guess sitting there being annoyed would be worse. Because if I'm sitting there and it's just kind of boring and no one's there, I could play around on my phone. I don't know. So let me compare like Borderlands, which I thought was obnoxious, to Disciples in the Moonlight. I guess I would rather sit through Borderlands, because Borderlands, it moved quicker, and kind of going to your point, at least it wasn't boring, really. It was obnoxious as hell, but I don't know if I was bored. Disciples in the Moonlight felt longer, and it was boring, but it was more fun to talk about. So sometimes the boring movie can be the one that's more fun to talk about afterwards. Doug and I did a con, like, after I saw Disciples in the Moonlight, and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, man, I was at this movie. It's in this alternate universe where they've outlawed the Bible and they've replaced it with a much shorter, enlightened, woke Bible, and the government is doing Bible buyback programs, and then our heroes have to sneak Bibles across the state because they've printed the scripture on shirts that they're selling. Describing that makes it sound like that's something you should watch for a bad movie night. Sitting through it, whole other thing. Nothing happened in this movie. Everything I just described to you, the Bible buyback program, the woke Bible, that's barely any of the movie. That's just like kind of a quick thing at the beginning. There was some, I didn't bring this up in the review, but there was some weirdness where the guy who betrays them, who starts getting into the woke Bible and like is sitting there going, I don't know, like I kind of like the woke Bible, like the Jesus I know loves me no matter who I am. And then dude, his brother just goes like, it's like I don't even know who you are. The guy who betrays them, they don't come out and say it in the movie. Clearly the character is supposed to be gay. But I didn't say anything in the room because I didn't know. I was like, maybe the actor is, but the character's not. Maybe it's just me. And then later, I'm like, nah, I think I know what they were doing there. They didn't have the balls to come right out and say it, but that was why he liked the woke Bible and like betrayed his brother later. It's again, I'm having way more fun talking about that than I am Borderlands. But sitting through it is still wildly different. I'm going to be at War Room 2 this weekend. We'll see how that goes. I got to see The Crow tomorrow, but Friday I'm going to be at War Room 2. It's called The Forge, but I just call it War Room 2 because it is. Maggie Flowers. This is bringing me back to the night my ex-husband made me try to bomb because he was obsessed with hot ones. It was pure awful. Yeah, man. Like Laura, she said that it was the worst that she had. She said she thought it was worse than having the one chip challenge, and I did notice that she reacted way more to bomb than when she did the one chip challenge. It's not even like, that's the thing. It's just, there's no flavor to it. It just tastes like freaking heat that you licked off of a thing of freaking steel sitting out in the sun. But again, maybe it's good in a nice flavorful bowl of chili. MH We Eat Nation. Did you ever watch Squid Game? I didn't, actually. You name me a cooking show on Netflix, I watched that. The cultural phenomenon Squid Game? Nah, I didn't see it. I heard Laura saw it and she loved it. He goes, if so, what are your favorite moments? My favorite moment was when Laura came in and said, I watched Squid Game. It was really good. And then I'm like, sweet, let's watch Great British Bake Off. There's... Somebody actually put it like pretty well in the comments not too long ago. It was when I reviewed that sci-fi Bollywood movie recently, Kalki 2899 or whatever it was called. Someone left a comment. All the comment said was, what's Brad gonna see? Inside Out 2? Nah. Bad Boys for Life? Maybe later. Kalki 2899? One, please. Yes, I'm reviewing that. Between streaming and so many movies coming out, it did kind of get to a point where I'm just like, I'm just going to go see what I want. I mean, yeah, of course, there's like the business end of it where it's like, okay, I think people will be more interested if I see this than this, but it does kind of come down to what I want to see. And sometimes what I want to see isn't something that I think will be good. Like, what? I can't wait to see the sequel to War Room this weekend. Do I think it'll be good? No. But I like being the guy who saw that in the theater and not Inside Out 2 that made $1 billion. When I went to go see Disciples in the Moonlight, I was the only one there, except the guy who was sitting, this big dude in a dirty t-shirt, sitting behind this like fold out table with Forge. Like I said, I call it War Room 2, but it's called the Forge, with a lot of Forge merchandise. And I was the only one there to go see Disciples in the Moonlight. So I'm like, man, just when I leave here, I don't want to get caught. I just want to go home. I don't want to get caught up in small talk, and I'm the only one leaving here. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. And I'm like, what do I say if he asks me about the movie? I'd play it off. I'd be like, if I came out of the theater and he was like, so what'd you think? I'd be like, it's all right. Oh my God, how much are they asking for the Bible buyback program? Luckily, when I left the theater, he must have been on a bathroom break or something, or maybe he snuck into Inside Out too. Anyway, to answer your question, no, I haven't seen Squid Game. Make it like Disciples in the Moonlight, then I'll go see it. Eclectic Ennui, are there any famous old films you haven't seen? He says he hasn't seen Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America. You should. Once Upon a Time in America is great. I haven't seen the butchered version of it, the like 2.5 hour butchered like Heaven's Gate-ish Heaven's Gate-ish cut that they that's a whole other thing. It's nothing compared to that Suicide Cult. I haven't seen the short version that they released in the United States back in '84 that they hacked like crazy and it got terrible reviews. The real version of it from Sergio Leone, yeah, I saw that. It's freaking great. Yo, yeah, you should check that out, man. I don't know. Let me, yeah, I'll go ahead and let me just pull up like AFI Top 100. And, because I'm sure there is. For all of us, there are. Like, okay, seen Citizen Kane, seen The Godfather, seen Casablanca, seen Schindler's List, seen The Searchers. I've seen Star Wars. I haven't seen The General from 1926. I haven't seen The General from I've seen the local General computer-generated animated commercials. I actually haven't seen The Grapes of Wrath. Yeah, I actually haven't seen that. I mostly know the scene where Michael Keaton is watching it in The Dream Team. Man, I guess a lot of these I have seen. Bridge Over The Best Years of Our Lives from 1946. I haven't seen that. If I do, maybe I will if I do 1946 in film. I've hit all the years. Got to go back to the 40s. Maybe I will. That would be kind of easy. There's less movies released back then. Oh, well, I also, to answer, Inside Out 2 made a couple $2 billion at the box office, and I haven't seen that. I hear it's good. I wasn't, like, purposefully avoiding it. It was more, I just wanted to review something else. There was another thing, I guess, I was something else I wanted to see instead, and was like, oh, my audience will watch me talk about this. Jacob Obert. Ever gonna do a Brad Tries with Jack? Yeah, on Ghost Pepper Gerber Baby Edition. Obviously something mild like a weird ice cream flavor. I mean, if he gets older, I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till he's 30 to tell him what I do for a living. Who am I kidding? I'll be dead by then. It'll be in my will when Laura will look at my will and then she'll say, it says here it's finally time to tell the boy what you do for a living. What did you think he was doing in that spare room the whole time? I don't know. I was terrified to ask. Yeah, I guess it would be, I would introduce him to the Ralston cereals that I grew up with. There you go. I had the Batman cereal when it came out in 1989, and it was delicious. When I had it 30 years later, not as delicious. Well, let's see how it holds up at the 40-year mark. Jacob Matthew Crawford. Have you ever seen or had any thoughts on films directed by Larry Clark, like Kids, Bully, Ken Park, and Another Day in Paradise? I never saw Another Day in Paradise. I didn't see Ken. No, I didn't see Ken Park. Bully I saw, and Kids I saw. And yeah, they were movies that it wasn't like I wasn't glad I saw them. They're both movies that have stuff in them that have stuck with me over the years. Like, I got to give them that. They are unforgettable movies. Key moments in either one. It's like, yeah, it's like, damn near 25, 30 years later, and I can still see certain scenes in my head. So they are wildly effective. They are things that I never need to see again, which I'm sure is fine, because they're not the kinds of movies where it's like, oh man, I'm gonna buy that shit. That's one of my comfort movies. kids. Fast forward to the AIDS. So, but no, they weren't. That's not the kinds of movies that I necessarily seek out, but they're good at what they do. I'll give him that. The other two movies on there of his I haven't seen. I'm guessing they're disturbing. Tim W. Hey Brad, been watching for years, love your work. For someone starting a review channel, what editing software, camera, and microphone do you recommend? Best wishes to you and your family. I'm the wrong guy to ask that. It depends on what kind of show you're doing. I am... is creature of habit the right word? Or you just stick with stuff that you're just kind of used to? So... I still have the same Sony Mini DV cam that I've had. Okay, when I first started the Cinema Snob, it was when I first started it, it was the little mini DV tapes. Yeah, the one I use now. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. I'll show it to you real quick. Hang on, I can take the microphone with me. So. Yeah, it was the little mini DV tapes that when I first started the show, because, yeah, you can hear the motor or the camera in those early episodes. Then I briefly switched to another camera, but the other camera that I switched to was the quality was even worse. The quality was like really blurry. There's episodes like The Geek that to me are unwatchable because of like the kind of blurriness on the camera. There was a problem with the aspect ratio on it too. There's just like a couple of episodes that I had to film with it because I had no other choice for like 2 weeks before I got another one. And then, so I guess I've had this now for well over 10 years. Yeah, it's just a Sony HD Handycam. This is what I use to shoot the Cinema Snob on. This is what I use to, I guess I filmed Hooker with a Heart of Gold with this. I filmed Disco with this. Any behind-the-scenes stuff I've shot, I've filmed with this. This little baby it's been with me for a really long time, and it still works. It's been through a few times of accidentally falling on the floor, but it's still... It's like me. It's still hanging in there, man. Got some wear and tear, but it's still, I don't want to get rid of it. I still like using it. Now for my show, that works, that kind of quality that's not as good as some other quality you're going to see from some other shows. It has just always worked for my show, where I'm talking about old exploitation movies, stuff shot on video. That quality matches it. Now, that being said, if I was reviewing things that weren't exploitation movies, let's say I started out as like a Disney guy or something like that, I would probably still be using the same camera, because I come from the micro-budgeted world, man. I come from just guerrilla filmmaking, point and shoot, shot on video, shot on high 8 tapes, all of that. So that part of me is like still there, even when it comes to making stuff like this. So I'm just used to this camera. I've got no drive to go out and get another one. I just like using it. And in terms of my editing software, I know there's better editing software out there. But when I first started editing, it was Pinnacle 7. It was like the early 2000s, and the first movies that I directed were edited on Pinnacle 7. And I don't still use Pinnacle 7. I use Pinnacle 12. So I use Pinnacle 12. Again, that works for my kind of show. There's not a lot of there's really no special effects necessarily that go on in my show, except every now and then maybe some green screen muzzle flashes and things like that. So I can get by with using Pinnacle 12. And Pinnacle 12, it's very user-friendly. It's just chop, chop, edit, move, all that. I look at other editing softwares, and I look at them, I'm like, this is like diffusing a bomb. Whether it's, stuff my friends use, like Adobe Final Cut and all that. I look at that, I'm like, I don't even know how to make a cut with this. Pinnacle, yes, just click the little scissor button. So that's what works for me. Now, if you want some, I would suggest you like maybe talk to somebody else who uses more high-tech equipment than I do. But if the kind of content you want to do is if you want it to be kind of similar in style to what mine is, then sure, what I said will work for you. It's worked for me. It's easy to use. I've used it for so long that when there is like a hiccup with the software or the camera, it's like I know the workarounds on it. Alan Plum, would you do a snob episode on Johnny Dangerously? Probably not. I like that movie. Like, I talked about it. Excuse me. There's still a little bomb snot drizzle. I talked about it a little bit in 1984 in film. Johnny Dangerously is funny. It's a funny movie. Like, I like normally like the sound effects type thing. Like, that's when I think about like cheesy sound effects in movies and shit. I think about shit like that Going Bananas movie where it was like bad, so they put sound effects in it later. Whereas Johnny Dangerously, it feels more like it was intended to be there, like it is part of that universe. And you have Michael Keaton in there with Joe Piscopo, and they work well together in it. And Joe Piscopo is very funny in that. So yeah, I like that movie. I haven't seen it in a while. But when I was a kid, I would watch that a lot. I remember watching that quite a few times when I was a kid. Sean Scanlon, continuation on the last one. I don't think Max from Hocus Pocus was as unlikable as you and Sarah made him out to be. He does save his sister at the end. You remember more about this movie than I do. Yeah, okay. I kind of remember him being a little annoying. Yeah, but you can have an annoying. I mean, that's just me. If someone doesn't, I'm only going off of what you said. I don't remember why I would have found him annoying. It's been too long since I've seen it. So yeah, if you don't find the character annoying, that's fine. But I've seen characters that are really annoying that will do something good in them. It doesn't mean that they weren't previously annoying before something happened. Like, okay, I watched. You'll like this. I watched when I did the 3 missing in action movies. The 3rd missing in action movie, Braddock has a son, and for whatever reason, they decided to just make his son just this obnoxious brat, and he should not be written like this. The plot of Missing in Action 3 is that Braddock, he thought that his wife had died in Vietnam when they were leaving Saigon. It turns out she didn't, so he goes back there to save his wife, and then he finds out he also has a son. At this point, his son would be about, I don't know, 13, 14, something. He's young. He's got like a early teen son. You should be feeling sorry for this kid where, the mother and son are stuck there in really, really dire conditions. Braddock has to sneak in there, sneak them out. I don't know, spoilers here, but let's just say one character very close to the kid dies. And dies actually pretty shockingly. And I wasn't expecting slow motion bullet shot to the head in one particular part in this movie. So anyway, you should be feeling sorry for this kid, but you don't, because he's written to keep giving Chuck Norris all of this like petty teen dialogue. Like, he's yelling at him like he would be like a spoiled brat teen in like an American drama series, but he's not. He's this Vietnamese kid stuck in Vietnam in dire situations trying to get out with his mom. But instead, he's like giving so much attitude to Chuck Norris in this. Like, when Chuck Norris is just trying to save him, he's saying shit like, where were you all this time? It's like, he didn't know. He thought the mom was dead, so of course he didn't even know the two of you were here. That's a whole long thing. You'll just have to wait for the review. But Yeah, later on in it, the kid's fine, but it doesn't take away from how annoying he was earlier in it. Because, yeah, Missing in Action 3 and Hocus Pocus, they're practically the same movie. I'm just saying, like, Chuck Norris might be kind of immortal in those films. Sean Scanlon again. Harveyhausen switching. Oh, have you? Okay. The words were all together. It's have you seen, but the words were all together. So I was like, Harryhausen? Harveyhausen? Oh, have you seen? Oh, okay. Switching channels with Burt Reynolds, Kathleen Turner, and Christopher Reeve as a guy who's afraid of heights. When I was a kid, I saw it. I haven't seen it since, so I don't remember much about it. I know that what I know the best about that movie is Burt Reynolds and Kathleen Turner did not get along at freaking all when they made the film. So maybe that would make it an interesting watch. I love all of those actors, but I'll be covering that when it gets to whatever year it was made in the in-film series. Nathan Palmer, are there any 70s disaster films you would like to spotlight on the show, such as City of Fire, Avalanche, or even The Swarm? The Swarm, I would totally spotlight The Swarm, especially the 2.5-hour version, because that's the one I've seen. I haven't seen the shorter version of it. There's one, I always forget the name of it. It was like, I get 70s or maybe early 80s. It might have been a TV movie, but it's a Canadian film. And is it called like The Arena or something? Where it's a Canadian disaster movie in which people are stuck in a hockey rink because the building collapses. So it's kind of like, I guess, Poseidon Adventure-y a little, or like Daylight or something, but in a hockey arena. I'm going to have to look up what that was called. But yeah, just Canadian old disaster movie hockey rink. And like, that's unique. Okay, yeah. I'm listening. Buy me some peanuts. Sean Scanlon, do you know the actress Eva Marie Saint from On the Waterfront and North by Northwest? I know her very well. We go back a long time. I was neighbors with her when I was young. Yeah, I know. Eva Marie Saint. Is she the last one that's kind of still around? She did just turn 100. She's still kicking. Is she kind of the last one of that era? Mamie Van Doren is still around. For a while there, Kirk Douglas was the oldest. He made it well past 100. Eva Marie Saint's still around. Some are in their 90s. Clint's in his 90s. Woody Allen is pushing 90 if he's not 90 yet. But I mean, like old, going back to Eva Marie Saint's days. Man, she might be one of the only ones left. John Bondi, have you ever seen An American Carol with Kevin Farley? No, but I remember when it came out. There was a few reviews for it when it came out, and I watched those. Maybe I should do an episode on that. That movie, it feels like it's the kind of movie that's just made to be dated, where it's all, it's a political satire, so that in and of itself kind of means they go into it knowing it's going to be dated at some point, because it's Kevin Farley's playing like a fake Michael Moore in it. He's called Michael Monroe or some shit, and he wants to outlaw the 4th of July, and then gets visited by Patton. Is it Patton? Or is it MacArthur? It's definitely JFK shows up at one point. Kelsey Grammer plays one of the generals. I hear this was bad. Maybe I should see it. I don't know. I don't know how dated it is. Dated. Doing an episode on a dated comedy is fine. I do that all the time. I did that with Getting It On, a movie like Getting It On, that's dated in a raunchy sense because it's it's a teen sex comedy. Same with Private Lessons and things like that. Political satire dated comedy, I don't know if I've really touched on that yet. I don't. That would be kind of interesting to do, I guess. I'd be up for the challenge. How do I make it though? Is it like a Christmas episode or a 4th of July episode? I'll look more into it. Sean Scanlon, have you ever watched Only Murders in the Building? No, Laura has. I really, really want to, but Laura watched the first season like on her own. So she liked it fine, but she wouldn't really want to go back to rewatching it. She said, which, yeah, when that happens, like usually I don't end up seeing it because when I'm just on my own, like when Laura's at work and everything, I'm kind of doing other things. I'm not sitting there catching up on a television series or casually watching a movie. I'm typically watching, a movie for the site, or I'm editing, or watching my son somewhere in there. No, I do my work at home when Jack's taking his naps. It's easy to work around that. So I'm not typically sitting there getting like binge watching or getting caught up on a show. Typically I have on like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll be just doing some laptop work. Sometimes I might have the news on or something like that. Just something in the background I don't have to pay attention to. I should really watch that though, because I love Steve Martin and Martin Short. Sean Scanlon, how's your mother doing? How's your mother doing? No, she's doing well. She's doing well. What'd you say about my mama? She hasn't been in any videos for a while. I really liked seeing you two together. Yeah, those were fun to do. We did some midnight screenings together. She helped me out for sure when I needed to see something and review something, and she stepped in a couple of times to review it with me. Sometimes with a couple of other people as well. Yeah, she's doing great. She's actually coming by tomorrow. When Jack was born, she moved back to her hometown because she was living there she lived in Long Beach, California for about 20 years. Then Jack was born. She wanted to be closer to her grandson, so she moved back to her hometown that's still here in Illinois. So it's easier for her to come up and see Jack whenever she wants. And so yeah, she's coming by tomorrow to hang out and have like a mini trip and everything, hang out with the boy. So she can hang out and watch the boy while the bomb is passing through me. John Bondi, Bat Pussy, better documentary than Hillary's America. Well, Bat Pussy's not a documentary. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's arguable. I don't know. If Buddy and Sam, the two redneck couple in it, if they're if they actually were a married couple in real life and they're just really good at shit talking and like insulting each other on camera, then I guess it's kind of a documentary. Like it's a look inside their marriage. I'll give this to Bat Pussy. Like, their insult game was on point. Like, their ability to just kind of like trash talk each other and riff off the top of their heads. It was a little rambly, sure, but the insults were there. Some of them were kind of cutting. Like, and original. More than I can say about the Dinesh D'Souza movie. The acting was better in Bat Pussy than in a Dinesh D'Souza movie, which is saying something because a Dinesh film is supposed to be a documentary. You're not supposed to say, well, the acting's shitty. I think I might have seen the trash talking couple from Bat Pussy in the theater to go see Hillary's America. On the other hand, though, like the Dinesh movie, maybe it was a little more original, I guess. Like, it's kind of a toss-up. The Dinesh movie had ghost Klansmen running out of the screen in Wilson's White House. I think it was Wilson. In Wilson's White House. That happened. There's, like, ghost Klan in it. And he did a fake DNC building or something like that where he made a basement that he put chains in and artwork of Andrew Johnson. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened in that movie. I like that it gets so petty at one point that in a reenactment, it's showing a young Hillary walking through the hall, and she just smacks papers out of somebody's hand walking by her. Dinesh D'Souza. Part documentarian, part squirrel. John Bondi, thoughts on FDR American Badass. I haven't seen it. I should. That's the one with Barry Bostwick, right? I think I got kind of tired of. Sorry, I had a pop up on here. I got a new phone, and I have to fix the settings on certain notifications that I've been getting. It's been going off this whole time. I get my email notifications, but I haven't specified them yet. So now it's giving me notifications every time I get a comment on a video. So just now, I just got a comment on the Alien Romulus review. I'll have to fix that when the stream is over. I think I got maybe the FDR movie was fine, but I remember at the time kind of being like, all right, like I want to step away from this genre for a little bit, the genre of like a president doing something badass, like the title says. That was around when there was a lot of stuff like post Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I did really like Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies. That one I thought was cool, and dude playing Lincoln in it was Bill Oberst. He was fantastic in it. He plays it totally straight, and he sells it that like this is Lincoln in a zombie movie. And there's like little in-jokes about like Teddy Roosevelt. I think he sees Teddy Roosevelt as a kid and like gives him like his future famous lines. That one I liked. Then there was a few more movies kind of like that, and then the FDR movie came out, and I was like, I need to kind of take a break from this for a bit. Maybe I'll go back and watch it, though, since it's been some years since it came out. John Bondi again. Would you use a better camera if it was given to you? It depends. It depends on what it is. If it's something that I can still like very much easily work with, for sure. If it's something that is so high quality that it does not mesh with my editing software at all, because that could happen. I can't, my editing software, I can't be editing with like 4K or anything like that. So it would depend on what it is. But yeah, and it would be hard to say goodbye to this little guy. I'm keeping this. It's gonna be buried with me. But yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, it depends on what kind of camera it would be. John Holmes says, Brad, will you ever bring back Kung Tai Ted? I mean, maybe in like a short cutaway. I don't think I have that uniform anymore. I mean, you know what? I probably do. It's probably just with my other stuff at the studio or right now in storage. So we haven't moved to another studio yet. Because I appeared as Kung Tai Ted since I had moved up here. There's a couple of episodes. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. There was a couple of times when I popped up as Kung Tai Ted, and he's in a wheelchair. So something bad happened to him, like between the last episode of that show and him popping up. For those watching, if you don't know what that is, that's this old karate character that I used to have when I moved to YouTube when I moved to Blip TV and then started the cinemasnob.com, I needed a lot of other shows to kind of fill some gaps in there. Kung Tai Ted was one of them. It was just this dubbed character that I did. It was a karate guy who was actually bad at karate, and then he was commentating over martial arts scenes in movies, but kind of making up shit, like making up certain moves and certain rules. And we started having like little sketches in them too. Like there would be Godfrey Ho type villains that would pop up in it. It was a fun show to do, but a show like that, it had an expiration date. And that's what happened with that and those other side shows that I used to do. But the show that I sit there and eat stuff I'll still do some stuff with that, like maybe shorts or trying hot sauce. So I would bring Kung Tai Ted back just as like a quick cameo, just as like a treat for people who have been with the show for a long time. Sean Scanlon, have you ever acknowledged when fans disagree with you? I'm sure. For example, I like Ted 2. Even if I dislike it, I doubt I would have been as mad as you were. The lead still had good chemistry. Was I mad during Ted 2? Yeah, I don't remember. I remember it because Mila Kunis wasn't in it. It made the plot from the first seem like a waste of time. And it kind of made it feel like a lot of stuff in the first movie didn't matter because it's like, oh, well, they're not together in this. Okay, what do I care about the first one now? And I like the first one. Don't get me wrong. I remember Ted 2 had me in like the first 20 minutes. There was like a musical number or something at the beginning that I thought was funny. I think there was something with Liam Neeson at first that I laughed at. And then after that, I don't know. I don't know what it was. We weren't laughing much after the first 20 minutes of it. I don't know if it was just like, if the movie was just kind of random or like, oh, now we're spoofing Jurassic Park with a weed field. Okay. I don't know if it got repetitive or what, but something, I don't know, whatever it was doing, we weren't very big fans of. As far as the leads having chemistry, I'll have to take your word for it. I only saw it the one time, and it was when we did a midnight screenings of it. But yeah, I mean, as far as acknowledging when fans disagree, yeah, it's happened on the live stream a bunch of times when people come on and mention some stuff that they like. Or we do those panels at like C2E2 where it's movies everybody disagrees with you on. We do those where people come up, and it isn't specifically them that they've disagreed with us, more so kind of going against fan or critical consensus. Like, people will come up with a microphone and say like, actually I hate Star Wars, or someone will be like, actually I love Waterworld. That would be me, because I love Waterworld. That kind of thing. So yeah, there can be like discussions and stuff during those panels. They are fun. Sometimes there's some eye rolling going on the inside. Sean Scanlon. Have you guys seen the 1994 Jungle Book movie with Jason Scott Lee and Cary Elwes, or The Bear from 1989? I saw The Bear. Yeah, that Jungle Book movie I haven't seen. Also, have you seen the animated 1992 short The Snowman? No, I haven't seen that, but I saw The Bear. So I saw The Bear in theaters when it came out. It was a grade school trip. It was in 1989, yeah. 89, yeah, 1989. 1989. And yeah, it was a grade school trip that we went to go see, and it's a powerful film, and that bear is great in it. Like, that is a good performance from the bear. And so yeah, it's this bear cub, and he's orphaned because like rocks crush the mother's head. Then the bear kind of starts looking up to this other bear in the film, and they're chased by these hunters. And I remember like that was an emotional ride, that movie is. And there was a lot of people in our grade school class who were not prepared for like that kind of movie, because there is a lot of animal death in it. Not like real, not like, it's not like, you're going to see something and it's got a horrifying backstory like Milo and Otis or something like that. No. Like, it's just in the story itself. There's like a bunch of hunting dogs that are killed at one point. You see the bear just get like crushed with this cave, like caves in and everything, and like yeah man, like it's it's a good movie, but it's you don't want to like spring it on some kids and be like, oh, it's got a bear in the title. Like it'll be like the Jungle Book, right? But no, you're right. It is an underrated movie. I was just thinking about that movie not too long ago, honestly. Um, John Bondi, how much would it cost to do a midnight with you? Ask me later. Um, I don't get to the theater as much anymore. But yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see. I'll have to ask my pimp daddy how much I'm worth. Delos 1138. How I love how you describe your son like you're Homer Simpson. I do say the boy a lot. The boy. And then the boy went to we have our own nicknames for him. We call him like typically on camera, yeah, I'm calling him like the boy and stuff like that. And but when we're together, I still say that. I'll still say that. But like Laura and I will call him like Sugar Man, Daddy Sugar, Papa Fresh, Freshinator. I like the Freshinator. Because we ever since he was born, like fresh became our most favorite word. Like so many baby stuff with the word fresh on it, so we would just start calling him like Papa Freshness or the Freshinator. The world is not prepared for your freshness, and he likes that word. It makes him giggle, so we'll use that in nicknames sometimes. But I also like calling him the boy, like I'm Homer Simpson. Corinth, and then this is the last one, it looks like. Oh no, there's another one on there. Corinth says, have you ever, there's a couple more on here. Have you ever been to the Wisconsin Dells? Not that I know of. What's the Wisconsin Dells? I'm probably offending some people that I have to look this up. You don't know? No, I haven't. The most I've honestly been to, it looks pretty. Oh, that looks awesome. I do need to go there. Man, that map looks like a Where's Waldo cartoon. It's like this caves and water park, and there's horses and woods. That looks awesome. Hell yeah, I want to go there, man. What was I gonna say? Usually when I'm in Wisconsin, it's for a con. But I do anytime I'm in Wisconsin, I do like it. It's always for a con, but I love stopping at some cheese places and shit. And no, I always have a good time when I'm up there. So maybe we should plan on like a weekend getaway up there, because that place looks great. Okay. Eli Neiman, have you heard the news regarding the death of Matthew Perry? Yeah, I know about that. The arrest that happened and everything. It's sad. Like that one hit hard when he passed away. 'Cause that's a dude. You've heard me talk about Friends and everything, and even when I did Friends-uary and the Matthew Perry movie I did during that month, I spotlighted 3 to Tango. There is certainly a lot of influences in my like comedy styling, demeanor, like comedic timing, all that. Like there's people that I highly credit as influences, and he's one of them. Between the sarcastic wit, like you see that a lot in the Cinema Snob, certain reactions, double takes, things he does with his eye, like the physical comedy too. I know there's not a lot of physical comedy on the Cinema Snob, but there could, in some episodes, there could be. I would incorporate some of that, and in the movies too. He's one of them that like there were a few people that did that as well as he's one of the greats, in my opinion, in terms of just being able to spit out that kind of sarcastic one-liner, and it's just perfect whenever he does it. And so I really studied him and his delivery, his ability to just with a reaction being able to get like a huge laugh on just one word. So that, yeah, that I'm putting it lightly right now. I did a big post and everything when he had passed away, but that was rough. Daniel Potts, any plans to bring back Angry Cinema Snob? It just happens naturally. Like, there's still episodes where the snob is angrier in something than in others. It's not anything that's intentional. It's just whatever feels natural to the episode. Like, yeah, of course, it's not like the old days where every single episode is the snob yelling at something, because if that were the case, if the show never evolved, I would have gotten bored with this a long time ago. But the show does evolve. It evolves hugely over time, and that definitely keeps me interested in doing it. And I still love doing it. I love the era right now where it is certainly more analytical and bringing in skills like being able to riff something that you're recommending. Like, you can still do a very positive review of something and be funny about it. That kind of mixing it up, I like a lot. But yeah, there's still episodes where the snob is mad. It just happens if that just happens to be the kind of movie that I'm watching. If it's something that I genuinely don't like. I'm trying to think of what the last one was that I got mad at. I know there's got to be something, but I do an episode every single week, so I can't remember what I did okay. Porky's Pimpin' Pee-wee is one of the worst things that I've done on the show in a while. It's not one of the worst things I've done on the show ever, but it's one of the worst things I've done in a while. So I don't think the snob was probably in the best of moods during Porky's Pimpin' Pee-wee. So if you want to watch that one, go for it. John Bondi, did you ever watch Brad Stein's stand-up? I think, yeah. Like, probably Brad Stein, he's the comedian who was in he's been in a few stuff I've done on the snob. I think he was in Persecuted. He's in Christmas with a capital C. And there's something else that is he's in that jingle, that Christmas John Schneider movie that I did a short review of last December. He was in that. I think I saw some of his stand-up around when I did like Christmas with a capital C, and I don't remember being miserable during it or anything like that. I think I just checked it out for curiosity. I don't remember that much about it, but I've seen him in stuff that I actually did like him in. I wasn't crazy about him in the Christmas movie, in the Christmas with a capital C movie. He was a bit much in that. But then I saw him in, it might have been Persecuted, where he was playing a much more like villainous character, and he was pretty good in it. Even in the John Schneider one, the John Schneider movie wasn't very good at all. The one about the toy line that gets pulled because the action hero gets canceled or some shit, and Brad Stein's a garbage man in it. There's a lot of the movie where they just kind of let Brad Stein riff, and it, you could kind of tell that's what was going on in it, but it wasn't as like it wasn't as overdone as in Christmas with a capital C. So he was fine in the John Schneider movie, but the one where he was the villain, I liked him in, and I think there's something else I might have liked him in too, but his stand up, it's been too long since I've seen any of it to really remember much of it. John Bondi, in Columbus, Ohio, there is the Haunted House restaurant. It has horror movie themed menu, seems up your alley. Hell yeah, I would do that. I remember one of my favorite restaurants I ate at. It might have been at MGM Theme Parks. I don't know if this restaurant's still there, but this was back in the 90s. It's like in the mid 90s. We went there, and it was a restaurant that was styled like a drive-in. Like, it had those car tables, like you saw in like Pulp Fiction, when there's like the old cars, but they're tables. It was like that. And we were sitting at one of those, and they had like a big drive-in screen too that was lit dark and everything. The setup was cool. It wasn't like dark in there like you couldn't see anything. It was just like, it had like an effect on the side of the screen that made it look like it was night. It made it look like you were outside and it was nighttime out. And then it would show like old drive-in movie trailers. That place was cool, man. That'd be awesome if that was still there. I don't know if it is, but it was like 30 years ago I went there and I loved it. John Bondi, sorry, it's Cleveland Heights, Ohio. What? Sorry. Sorry, it's Cleveland Heights, Ohio. I don't know what that means. Man, my memory's gotten worse. I've totally been used to, I've got a whole bunch of Snob episodes that I have absolutely no memory of, which is true. There's Snob episodes I have zero memory of. Now it's like, there's questions in this chat that I have zero memory of. What's Cleveland Heights, Ohio? Let me go back to the main chat. Maybe they'll mention it over there. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through here to see what Cleveland Heights, Ohio is in context to. Well, hopefully people remember, because I don't know what it is. Wisconsin Dells in Cleveland Heights, Ohio? Is it? Is that would be the twist. Dells is a city in a week of Wisconsin. No, that's in Wisconsin. According to that, it's in Wisconsin. The restaurant locations for okay. Sorry, hang on, I'm looking up. I hate you don't have to answer. You don't have to pay extra to answer. But I don't know what restaurant locations you're talking about. Did we talk about restaurants earlier? Is that where the drive-in restaurant was? I see. Here's the mistake. I got you. Okay, here's what went wrong. I see, the haunted house restaurant. All right, Cleveland Heights restaurant locations. Gotcha. That was totally on me. Here's what happened. A lot of your questions have been highlighted blue on here. The one about the restaurant was green. So when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing like a lot of blue that I'm seeing your name on. I kept scrolling by the green. In my head, instinctively, I was thinking that was somebody else. I've been on here for a couple of hours, sorry. So I was too much associating like the color green right there and skipped right freaking by it. Okay, I was scrolling all the way up. I was like, did we talk about a restaurant like a couple of hours ago? Oh yeah, I got so talking about the MGM restaurant, like right, the haunted house. Gotcha. Okay. I'm on the same page with you right now. I think that's about that. That means it's about time for me to wrap it up, people. Sorry about that. I had to pay less attention to the color of the questions next time. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for Oh, someone's asking about the shirt. Is that a real... The shirt's inside out because the camera was flipped at the beginning and it was distracting me. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. That was a lot of fun. I am going to wait and see what it's like whenever the bomb gets passed. So, all right, let's pop up the old King Frat theme and then we're out of here. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Everybody come join the party.